The dark night of the soul, which, yes, I have also experienced. That's a term then used to describe what one could call a collapse of a perceived meaning in life, an eruption into your life of a deep sense of meaninglessness. And the inner state, in some cases, is very close to depression, maybe some dark night of the soul, often to do with conventionally called depression. But it is basically a sense of emptiness or meaninglessness. Nothing makes sense anymore. There's no purpose to anything. And sometimes it's triggered by some external event, some disasters perhaps on an external level, external rather than within. The death of someone close to you could trigger it, especially premature death. For example, if your child dies, or you had built up your life and given it meaning, and the meaning that you had given your life, this is what my life is about, your activities, your achievements, where you're going, what is considered important, and so the meaning that you had given your life for some reason collapses. Some disaster which seems to invalidate the meaning that your life had before. And really what has collapsed then is the whole conceptual framework for your life, the meaning that your mind had given it. And so that results in a sense of darkness, a dark place. But people have gone into that, you're in that dark place for a while, and then you emerge out of that. There is the possibility that you emerge out of that. You can emerge out of that into a transformed state of consciousness, where life has meaning again, but it is no longer a conceptual meaning that you could necessarily explain. It is often from the dark night of the soul, not necessarily, but quite often it's from there that people awaken out of their conceptual sense of reality, which has collapsed. They awaken into something deeper, which is no longer based on concepts in your mind. A deeper sense of purpose or connectedness with a greater life that is not dependent on explanations or anything. It's a kind of rebirth. And the dark night of the soul is a kind of death, that you die. What dies in the dark night of the soul is the egoic sense of self. And of course, yes, death is always painful, but nothing real has actually died there. Only an illusory identity. Now, it is probably the case that some people who have gone through this transformation, they have been through the dark night of the soul, and they discovered that out of that a new self emerged that was a non-conceptual self, but a deeper being, the awakened consciousness. And they somehow, looking back, they realized that they had to go through that. Not everybody does, of course, have to go through that, but some people do. But it is part of a larger purpose. It's part of the awakening, not for everyone, it doesn't have to be, but often it is part of the awakening process. The death of the old self, the birth of the true self. So once you know that, if it should come, or if you should even be in the middle of it now, the more you surrender, the more quickly you go through it. Surrender means don't judge it anymore. You accept whatever it is that you experience at this moment.